for today, we are going to try on the new Careline. The new Careline Acne Spot Concealer. I got the shades Cafe and Natural. And I also got their new Oil Control Mattifying Loose Powder in the shade Cinnamon. Okay, so I'm going to use Natural for where I usually do concealer, and that is on my under eyes. And actually it's perfect that I'm doing this video now because I am getting a little bit spotty, especially here on my cheeks. And so yeah, so it's perfect to try the concealer right now. So we'll see if it actually covers. And yeah, this shade is actually perfect for my skin tone. I got the second shade from the lightest. Like there's a lightest shade and then there's natural. So yeah. It smells very fresh and clean. It smells, you know, tea tree oil. It smells very that. And I think because there is like pimple healing properties in their formula. Yeah, there is salicylic acid and there is tea tree leaf oil, but they are on the latter part of the ingredients list, so there's really not much, but it is there. And so yeah, so I'm just going to blend the concealer with my fingers, and that blends very quickly. The consistency of this reminds me of the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. It's more on the dry side. It's not as creamy as the Maybelline Fit Me that I always use. And so yeah. This shade is perfect for my skin tone. It has a yellowish undertone, and I definitely have yellow undertone. Golden yellow. It's not dewy at all. It is definitely a matte concealer. It doesn't leave any kind of like dewiness, as you can see, which is perfect for oily skin. This is a mosquito bite. It's a pretty intense one. We'll see if it will cover the redness. I think it did. I think the thing about spot concealing, if you are trying to conceal like a pimple mark, you don't want to blend it too much. You want the coverage to be as opaque as possible, and you just like try to leave the pigment on the spot itself, and you blend the outer edges of the spot so that the most concentrated pigment is on the spot, and you can just blend the outer concealer to your skin or to your foundation if you wear foundation. So yeah, so just like with light hand of blending. Yeah, so it didn't totally cover my spots, but I'm also not looking for a full coverage, like just preference wise. I'm okay with just like natural to medium, like light medium coverage. And so yeah, so I think it has a level of coverage that natural makeup wearer tends to go for, and that is my preference. Like, it's definitely on the natural side because for me, I don't wear any kind of foundation, and so for me this is perfect because if I go for a fuller coverage concealer, it tends to look not natural on my skin. Like, you can definitely, if I'm wearing fuller coverage foundation without, I mean concealer without foundation, you can see where the concealer ends, whereas with more natural concealer, it blends more nicely on the skin and it's almost like kind of undetectable. Okay, so that is one layer of concealer. I like it. What do you guys think? Next is we are going to layer the concealer just to see how it builds. I think this is perfect for oily skin because it's so like matte, but it's not like a chalky matte that it makes your skin look dry. And if you are close to my skin tone, the shade Natural is perfect. So yeah, so that is 2 layers of the Acne Spot concealer in the shade Natural, and I really like it. I think this is definitely my preference in terms of concealer. It builds nicely on top of each layer and it blends nicely with the fingertips. I'm very happy with that. Now let's move on to the darker shade. I also got a darker shade to kind of like try it for bronzer. I have a brush and I'm taking the shade Cafe, and we'll see if I can use this as a bronzer. It might be a bit, yeah, I guess it's okay. Okay, the undertone of this one is more on the neutral. It's more of a neutral undertone. Oh, I think I put too much. It blends nicely with a brush. That's good to know. A little bit color on my nose. Okay, so that is the shade Cafe. I like it as a bronzer. I think since the formula of this is like very matte, it's very dry, it works very nicely as a bronzer. It blends beautifully, and yeah, it just looks very natural on my skin. And I imagine if I set it with a setting spray, it would melt even more on my skin. But I'm not gonna do that because 99.9% of the time I don't use setting spray. That's just me. I just let the oil, my natural oil, seep through. And yeah, I think this is a nice everyday natural makeup base for me specifically. I like it a lot. Okay, now let's move on to the, what is this? The Careline Oil Control Mattifying Loose Powder, and I got the shade Cinnamon. They have 2 shades. The other one is lighter. I think it's called Sugar. And this is what Cinnamon looks like. It definitely has a warm yellowish undertone, and I think that would work pretty okay for my skin tone. And so I'm just going to take a small brush and I'm going to dip it Okay, it's definitely fine. As you can see, it's like flying up in the air. Okay, and I will be setting mostly the T-zone. I feel like with these concealers, you can get away with not setting it, especially if you have a more natural and dry skin type. I think you can definitely get away with not using a setting powder. But for the purpose of this video and reviewing the powder as well, I'm setting my face. Sometimes I like a matte look, especially if I have like breakouts like these. It just makes me feel more, I don't know, put together. Like I'm having like texture here. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah. So this is the powder. And it sets my like T-zone nicely. It doesn't have a lot of like coverage. It is meant to set whatever cream products you have, and in this case the concealer, and it's definitely more on the mattifying formula, which I think is very perfect for what they are going for, because it's supposed to be oil controlling and mattifying. It's literally on the branding. And so yeah, so I think that this works. Like it doesn't give me a dry kind of look on my face, and I actually really like it. Like I can see myself using this, especially the concealer. This is the Acne Spot Concealer on my face and the Oil Control Mattifying Loose Powder on my T-zone. What do you guys think? I think it's good. I think it's good, especially for the price. This is $195 each. I'm not sure how much this is. I'm just going to put it somewhere on the screen, but I think we can all agree that it is on the more affordable side. Final thoughts. These are good, and I think this is very appropriate for what is going on. You know, when we are going out, 100% of the time have mask on. Oil control mattifying formulas, I think, are much needed in this specific situation, specific time, because I know we are all trying to prevent maskne. We can prevent maskne by trying to control the oils that we produce on our face. And so if you are the type of person who wears makeup under your mask, an oil control powder can definitely help you with trying to control the oil, or trying to keep your oil at bay so that it wouldn't mix in with your sweat and make your pores clog under the mask, like it's all marinating in there. The concealer, I really like the concealers, especially now that like I'm more spotty. I'm breaking out. I definitely need a drier formula of concealer, because I have been using Maybelline Fit Me, and I find that, you know, sometimes with the more emollient or creamier formula, it doesn't work well when you're trying to conceal spots. But this one, it stays put nicely on my skin. The formula is dry enough that it stays nicely on top of the skin, but it's not that dry enough that it just sits on top and you would have a hard time trying to blend it in your skin to make it look nice and, you know, one with your skin. I think you can do that easily with this even if the formula is on the drier side. Just make sure that you moisturize before you use this. I think moisturizer will definitely help everything blend out nicely. And the powder is nice. I like the undertone. I think this is the perfect shade for my skin tone. And so if you are close to my skin tone, I think you would also find this perfect for your face. That is it, I guess. I am very happy with my purchase. And yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys are doing okay, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.